Hello IC5 team. I wanted to go ahead and do an updated video to show you some of the minor changes that have been made to the Android version of the MedRisk Screener app, and also take a look at how it looks on a new device. So this is the Amazon Kindle Fire. The major issue with getting the app on here was that the Fire does not come with a Market link, so it cannot get to Android Market. You have to go through Amazon Market, and so that makes it a little bit harder to get applications onto it, but I was able to email it over and also email over the special installer that we've talked about before, and I was able to get the application on here. As you can see, their icon form factor is a little bit different. Looks like I skipped over. There we go. Alright, so that's what our icon looks like at that size. It's kind of blurry, you can't really see in this video. And there's the splash screen. I don't think that's changed any. So here's one of the changes, is that I am using Facebook to do what they call SSO, or single sign-on, so that we don't have a new user ID and password for individuals that are using this. And this is kind of a worst case scenario of what can happen with the Facebook, because unless you have no connection at all, I'm not logged into Facebook, and so it's prompting me to log in, but it did autofill from last time. Now, somebody might get a completely blank form like this where they have to put in their Facebook ID and their password in order to log in, but typically once they do that, they stay logged in, and then the app will go pretty fast through the login procedure after that. So that wasn't too bad. It says login complete there. And so this all looks familiar. There really haven't been any changes to the initial screen. I did have to add a menuing type tab, because some of the small screens actually couldn't show, believe it or not. With all the extra real estate here, the small screens could not show all of the data on the screen at once, and so I had to introduce some ways to sort of initiate the screening. You can kind of see there, exit, initiate the survey, get some information about the app, and get some help. So we'll try the about. I don't think anybody's seen this yet. So we've got right now just a few individuals listed there. We can talk about who all we want listed, but this is all that fits on a 3-inch screen. So we actually don't really have all this extra space. This is really all that will fit on a typical screen. And then actually I think there's an extra link here called citations, and that actually lists the literature that the publications from Penny and others that regarding this app, and there's a timeout on it, so it went ahead and flipped back. So we can either hit this button, which the big button as before, which doesn't show up on small screens, or we can actually initiate screening from here. And as always, it's in landscape format, and so again, I'm just gonna, there's no changes here, so I'm gonna flip through here pretty fast. Okay, and alright, so report just as we've seen before, and can go onto the survey from the buttons. There's also, well, there is no menu item there. Okay, the main difference in the survey, the questions are the same. The main difference is the behavior at the end is a little different. I'm just using a soft keyboard to put that in. And then when you submit survey now, instead of prompting you to send out an email, it goes ahead and does it on its own. So there's no user interaction required, and you can see how fast it is. I've already got the email with the survey results now. And it noticed that it did figure out that this was coming from a Kindle Fire. When somebody's submitting a bug report, that kind of information is going to be important. One of the things that I haven't talked about so far is the introduction of help to some of these questions. We had talked about that before, but I noticed that in the original paper version of the screener, they actually did have some clarifying instructions on several of the questions. And so we'll go ahead and start the screening process again. I don't think there's anything for, yeah, actually there is. There's help for question number 1. And so when you hit that, it says, so do you know what each of your medications is for? And it says, for example, if you take 6 different medications, do you know for what reason the doctor prescribed each medication? That was a clarification that was on the original instrument. So we'll move on. When I hit the menu, if there's no help, just nothing happens. So we'll move on. I think this is the next one that has some help. Do you think any of your medicines is not helping you? And when I hit help there, it says it clarifies to say yes means that I think at least one of my medicines is not working, and no means I think all my medicines are working. So that could be an important clarification, because yes and no is kind of a really blunt force way of answering a sophisticated question like that. And I believe question 5 also has some help to it. And this says, do you have any physical problems that keep you from taking your medicine as prescribed? And then the example given when you hit help is vision loss, hearing loss, or pain. Again, all from the original instrument. So that pretty much sums up the changes that have taken place in the Android version of the app. As I mentioned, I am working on the iPhone version. It's been a challenging process. It's quite a bit different than the way things are done on Android, but I think I'm rounding a corner and should have an app to demonstrate probably in the next week or two for that. So signing off for now, and hope to see you at the next conference call.